Hello everyone, and welcome back to another session of Dark Souls 2 PvP and another weapon showcase. This time I am using the Malformed Skull, which you can get from the Malformed creatures as a drop. Now the Malformed creatures, they are the funky looking ones in the Sinner's Rise and in Aldi's Keep. I'm sure you guys know which ones I'm talking about. And this weapon is one that was actually very common for a period of time. And then it sort of fell off the radar when it got a bit of a nerf to its strong attacks, specifically the two-handed R2. That one got a pretty significant nerf, but that all aside, it still does fantastic damage and is a very, very scary weapon. So, getting started. The Malformed Skull requires 35 strength and 7 dexterity in order to wield. It has no scalings, making this weapon ideal for infusions, whether it's a raw infusion or an elemental infusion. This weapon is good with both. The physical base damage of an uninfused version of this weapon is 520, and for me, since I am using the Ring of Blades and Flynn's Ring, my attack rating is, of course, 620. The counter strength of this weapon is 100, the poise damage is 60 per hit, and the weight is 12 units. Now, when you do infuse this weapon along the raw path, the physical base damage bumps up from 520 to 598, and as such, my attack rating with this weapon is 698. When you infuse it along an elemental path, whether it's lightning, magic, dark, whatever, its physical base damage will drop down to 600. No, will drop down to 364. And its elemental base damage will be going up to 364, which is very good if you plan on infusing and buffing this weapon. Very, very, very powerful, so something to keep in mind. Now, this weapon, I would have to say that the biggest pro would be the damage. This weapon's damage is just kind of absurd, and even before the patch where they did, remove the New Game Plus barrier, I was in New Game using this weapon and hitting well over 1,000 on criticals, which, as you guys know, criticals in New Game deal significantly less damage. So, as such, this weapon has a very high critical modifier, it's got a very high damage on its regular attacks, and even though that two-handed R2 did get nerfed, it still is incredibly powerful, and as such, can hit 800s. It's kind of insane, so definitely something to watch out for and to keep in mind if you're planning on using this weapon. Other things about the weapon, it's got a pretty low weight considering its class. It's a Great Hammer class weapon, and it only weighs 12 units. That's not bad, especially considering how little stat investment is required to have such a high attack rating with it. That's a good thing, and really makes this weapon very viable for builds that are, specializing in other things as well as purely strength. For example, my Muscle Mage. An infused one of these on my Muscle Mage with Crystal Magic weapon would be insane. So, there's that. That's something to keep in mind. And it's a good thing. Other than that, there's really not much. I mean, you've got some combos. Combos were also one thing that did get nerfed in a patch, though. You used to be able to have 3-hit guaranteed combos, and that's just not happening anymore. Now you only have 2-hit guaranteed combos, which is fine. That's enough. Now, the biggest con of the weapon, the durability is pretty low, so that's something you really need to watch out for. It's a good idea to have some repair powder on hand. It's also pretty slow and predictable as such, and it's also easy to dodge because, of course, it is a Great Hammer class weapon, and that just comes with the territory. So, it is what it is. Overall, very good weapon, very fun to use. I enjoy using this thing very often, and that's really all I've got. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful in one way or another. Please like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff, and I will see you guys next time.